r/AskReddit by Reddit and chill. Men who have been sexually assaulted by a woman. What's your story? My supervisor continuously asked me on a date and I declined because I was busy. So she scheduled me off. Came over to my house and told me I had no excuse. She paid for everything and I denied sex at the end of the night. I got fired the next day for something unrelated. Nobody believed me and I had to find a new job. Ducking ruthless abuse of power. I had someone grope me when they thought I was drunk and passed out on a bed at university. I whispered daddy. No, and they seemed too guilty to continue after that. Power move. I've been grabbed by so many old ladies at work, it's ridiculous. After the first couple it's halfway expected, so you get good at dodging it. But there's no one that'll take a complaint from a guy against an old lady seriously. Profession me good sir. There was a freshman girl who followed me around everywhere when I was a junior in college. Party at the apartment I share with 3 friends. I get incredibly sloshed and put myself to bed. She shows up really late, sober as can be, and marches right back to my room. My friends thought I made a booty call. I'm just barely conscious. She gets my pants off and blows me until I have an erection. She rides me while I'm doing absolutely nothing until I get off inside her. She stayed and the next morning I paid for plan B with most of what was in my bank account at the time. Rapes you and makes you pay for the plan B? Now that's a ducking monster. When I was 22, I went through a phase when I tried online dating for a while. I met this one girl who I met up and connected with over drinks and dinner. The typical meetup story? Wrong. After 40 minutes into dinner I felt unwell. She insisted that she takes me to her place. I was in no state to argue. We get to her place and it was just a blur. I vaguely remember my clothes coming off and her forcing me to go down on her, and I think she blew me. I woke up the next morning and said something like, "Did we have sex?" She said yes we did. Twice. I very quickly dressed and bolted. Fortunately I was able to Uber home. I am convinced I was date raped. I've never told anyone about it. I'm also convinced if you choose to share this with someone you know, I hope they respond in a way that's worthy of your trust. Freshly turned 21, was at the bar with a couple buddies playing pool having a beer. This really haggard looking older woman comes up behind me. I still wore baggy jeans at the time. She slid her hand down the back of my pants and grabbed me ass. I turned my head to have her screech in my ear loudly, "Your mama raised you right, I bet I could show you the time of your life." The entire bar just stared at us. I just laughed it off and she walked away. Buddies thought it was creepy as hell, lucky they don't give me shit for it. If an old man approached a young woman at the bar and stuck his hand down her pants, he'd be arrested. It happened a few times when I was in my party days. I'd get sloshed somewhere, find a nice quiet place to crash out, and wake up with a female friend on top of me trying to get things going. One particularly persistent incident sent me hiding under a pool table because in my drunk mind I was pretty sure there wasn't enough clearance for her to try again. I'm about 95% sure drunk me was right. Okay, that pool table idea is incredible. Drunk you is a genius. Damn, that's rough, and even more so because your uncle knew what was going on and the sick duck probably got off on watching you with his wife. What I don't understand though is that after a cousin admitted that she had done it to him before, how was it that no one believed you? So how old was your aunt? Did she ever go to jail for it? And how is your relationship with your family now? I stumbled home drunk from a college party and passed out in my dorm room. Woke up to her riding me after she climbed in the window. That's some crazy. I was 10 and she was 16. My first cousin, who would invite me over to hang out constantly, went on for years. I didn't know it counted as assault until years later because she was a woman. A lot of my anxiety issues are rooted back to her. She is still one of the most loved family members even after everyone found out the truth, and is why I no longer attend family gatherings to this day. People constantly blame me and say it's my fault our family has tension because I won't be nice to her or forgive her or just try to get along. Edit. Thank you all for your messages. I went through and read them all and I really appreciate your support. In my situation it's hard to find that. I want to let you guys know that I am going to therapy and getting help and things are getting better for me all the time. I'm learning to cope in a healthy way. And if any of you guys ever need to talk to anyone, my messages are always open. I'm sorry your family sucks. I hope they see the light one day. It's crazy when victims are further victimized by the people who should want to protect them. None of this is your fault and they're all scum for trying to make you feel like that. Hope you're doing okay, dude. I was 20. Drinking my face off at a summer party with a bunch of my friends. When a girl who I had a sexual history with and trusted very much at the time decided that I needed a bit more to drink even when things were winding down. Fed me liquor until I was really too ducked up to do anything. Then she helped me into the bathroom because I wasn't feeling so good, where she proceeded to cover my entire face and neck with lipstick marks. Earlier in the night she had been making jokes about trying to get with me. But I'd brushed them off and said sorry. No. Not gonna happen. I've got a girlfriend now. That kind of thing to try and keep her at arm's length. I made the mistake of drinking too much. And as soon as she'd gotten me alone in the bathroom I was pretty well done for. Woke up around 5 AM next to her. Both of us naked. In a mutual friend of ours bed. Got dressed. Ran home and immediately blocked out anything and everything I could about the event. Lived in blissful ignorance of what actually happened to me until 4 or 5 days later when one of my friends brought up that I was most definitely sexually assaulted. Shocked me and hurt me to my core. But I genuinely don't remember anything about what happened after she took me into the bathroom. And a few days later she started saying shit to her friends and people she knew that I'd taken advantage of her while she was drunk that night. The only thing that stopped the mob from trying to beat my ass was a picture my friend had the foresight to snap. Me. Very obviously KO'd on the bed. Pants off. Shirt still on. And her. Looking right at the camera and covering herself up. Friend did great taking that picture. I was roofied by a Brazilian girl at Oktoberfest. We met and she offered to buy me a beer. Which I thought was awesome. Because I'd never had a woman offer to buy me a drink. Of course. Being a man. I did not even consider the risk of being drugged. Oh boy was that a mistake. She returns with said beer. I'd had nothing else to drink at this point. I begin to drink it. And I don't even remember finishing it. The next thing I know, 2 security dudes are literally dragging me by the arms out of the beer garden. I can't even hold my head up and I don't know where I am or what's going on. I cannot speak and my tongue is literally hanging out of my mouth. Guess who suddenly appears? The girl. She said that I was with her. So they dragged me to her car. Mumbling about how they hate dealing with drunk frat boys. I am unable to speak or offer any sort of resistance the whole time. The next thing I remember is being tied to her bed and then taken for a ride. I think I vomited at some point. She just cleaned it up and kept going. This felt like it went on for hours. But whatever drug I had been given really ducked my brain up. The only other time I can remember feeling like that was when I woke up from anesthesia after having dental surgery. I woke up with my hands still tied to the bedposts. And the ducked up part is that she then acted like this was a totally normal and fun situation. I was genuinely scared of what she might do if I did not play along. So I did, dying a little inside. In the process. Until I could get away. My phone and other personal effects were gone. But luckily I had my wallet. So I was able to pay for a taxi to take me what turned out to be 30 miles to my home. And no. I didn't report it. Because who's going to believe me? I just swallowed the experience and moved on. Couldn't you get tested for the drug afterwards? I'm not trying to blame you for not reporting it. I'm just curious. Girl I sort of dated for a while. She was prone to getting drunk and angry. One night I had a few too many at a friend's party, so I decided to catch a cab home. She followed me into the cab and said she'd crash at mine since hers was too far. I was really pretty drunk by then, so figured what's the difference. We got home and I lay down on the bed to pass out, but she starts messing with my belt like trying to open them. I ask what she's doing. And she says she wants sex. I say no. I'm too drunk. I just wanna sleep. My head was spinning and I just felt nauseated. She kept taking my pants off and put my penis in her mouth. I told her to stop what she was doing, but if I sat up I felt like I was gonna puke and I couldn't really push her away with the state I was in. She got on top of me and pushed my penis inside of her and rode me very aggressively, holding me down. I just kept telling her to stop. I'm not interested, I want to sleep. I ended up vomiting after a few minutes because of all the motion, and she slapped me and started screaming at me that I was a sick duck. What the hell is wrong with me? Etc. She ended up telling heaps of people I vomited on her during sex, and I got a lot of jibes teasing about it. It took me a long time to realize that I'd been raped due to the stereotype that men can't be raped, but it was a really ducked up experience. There is only one sick duck in this story, and it ain't you, man. If it were me, I probably would have been arrested. Not probably, definitely. When I was a kid and one doctor jerked me off to check up on my health. It never bothered me until I got new doctor. I hate doctors now. The duck? I was about 6 years old, living in Colorado. My sister had a sleepover at our house with 2 of her friends. I woke up before everyone like I always did. My morning ritual was sneaking 2 Oreos out of the cookie jar and then watching mid-90s MTV on the floor with a blanket. My sister's 2 friends wake up shortly after. Both of them are about 3 or 4 years older than me. All I really remember is them trying to have sex with me, too scared and confused to make them stop. We were in the living room, under the blanket while this all happened. The only reason it came to a stop was the sound of my father clearing his throat. Fellow Coloradan here. But damn, so did your dad know what was happening? My cousin was visiting from the UK. I was 5 or 6 at the time. All I remember is the feeling of confusion, guilt, pleasure and shame as she is on top of me. Unfortunately, she was not my only abuser and I repressed the memories for a long time. But when they came back to the surface, I recognized the exact same feelings from my other rapes. I'm so sorry all of that happened to you. I hope you're getting support and healing. Mine might not be as traumatic as some in this thread, but here it is. Typical teenager talking a big game. Gets girl into room in college. After some lackluster foreplay, she pulls my shorts off to see what she's working with. I decide I don't want sex. Maybe just head is okay. This is the first woman I've been with. I'm terrified. She leaves for a minute. Comes back with 2 friends. The 2 friends held me down while she ducked me. I was 18. I wasn't intimate with another woman for almost a decade. Jeez. What kind of twisted duck helps their friend rape someone? I was at a bar and this woman I knew from college grabbed my dong while I was dancing with my girlfriend. Then the next day she messaged me on Facebook and I told her my girlfriend was pissed she did that. She said sorry and that she gets handsy when she is drunk. Fast forward 3 years and she is on the front lines of the Me Too movement, demonizing men and their terrible ways. I wanted to post a screenshot of our conversation to one of her Me Too posts, but I didn't want to be a dong. It's not being a dong. You know she should do the same to you in his heartbeat. I had a boss in hospitality who would slap my backside at any opportunity when I passed her. I asked the other staff, majority female, if this was common and they stated they'd only seen her do it to me. When she found out I had asked the other staff about her, she doubled down. Now she would grope or literally pull me into her for a forced hug where she would also grope me. As I was only 15 at the time, I didn't really have the capacity to know what to do in that situation, so I just froze up out of fear most times. Then I just stopped going to work without notice, so she appeared at my house screaming like a banshee that I was a piece of shit etc. I then got to witness one of the greatest things ever. My mom, who is a very timid woman most of the time, beat the MF shit out of that lady. Total fatality style beat down. I haven't seen her since, but I heard the other girls at the business all quit when they heard why I left and she had to close the business. TLDR boss molested me daily as a teen. Mum beat the shit out of her. She lost her business. Here I was reading this thinking about how there's been a few incidents of similarity reported where it's usually something small at first and the account of what happened sounds about normal for this type of thing in the workplace. As I was only 15 at the time. Hold up. That's not just slightly illegal. That's very illegal. Crazy ex. She didn't want me to leave her. So she forced my dong inside her and wanted me to come in her to make her pregnant. Supposedly I'd still be with her if she got preg. That's scary. Sorry to hear that. Thank you for sharing your story. I'm hoping that men sharing these awful experiences will save someone who maybe doesn't understand that what's happening to him is not okay. Ducking like and subscribe.